Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Um, Firstly, before I actually get into this video, I just wanted to talk about my videos in general because I've been getting like a lot of comments recently talking about the build. I think it was the last build that I did. Didn't work for some people. I want to clarify. I thought that I did in terms of my comments, like on the thumbnails of my video, is the builds that I put out there, the ideas that I put out there on my YouTube channel is pretty much from things that I've tested that have worked for me. In terms of builds that I make, or example guide videos in terms of raids or GMs or stuff like that, I try to, because I tend to like teach people anyway, so most people that I play with do not have like top tier gear, which I feel is a great baseline in terms of like trying to help someone that is like getting into the game. And obviously for someone that is obviously played as much as I have, it'll be easy for you to adapt your build or change it to make it better. So I wanted to be clear, this is just me recommending builds, recommending ideas. If it doesn't work for you, I'm sorry that it didn't. You can always change it or update it or make it better to fit your style of play. But for my style, this builds work because I've tried it, I've used it. That's why I'm making a video about it. I don't tend to make videos about things I do not try or have not used, for example. But it's not here or there. I don't really want to ramble on too much about that. Just focus on this current video. So this video is gonna essentially be put down as a recommendation of weapons that is essentially going to, just like my hand cannon video with the 180 Seraph hand cannon and my truth teller video, this is gonna be about the royal entry / rockets in general. So there's two rocket launchers that I want to essentially put out there that I want people to essentially farm for. Reason why I feel like there might be a case for rockets in the future, and these two rockets, especially if you can go for these two main roles that I have farmed for, I've tested out and I enjoy, and I feel like if you want a good rocket in the future, you should probably have this like in your vault. I have this, I've tried it out, I enjoyed it, but obviously rockets are not top tier right now, so most of the time it's just sitting in my inventory or sitting in my vault. But obviously when they do become top tier, knowing that I have this will make me sleep better, I guess, at night. So let me stop rambling on and let's actually get into the video. So in terms of royal entry, this is the role I would recommend for people to farm for. There's many roles that you've probably heard about. I'm sure thousands of YouTubers have made videos about the royal entry. The main reason I wanted to make this video is to essentially have it so that I can kind of relay people to the video of why I have this role. But this role is essentially for the one perk that we all want on our royal entry, which is count cartridge. What essentially does is, once you've shot the first bullet of your rockets, every other reload means you have 2 rockets in a mag. So think of it as Ambition Assassin on a grenade launcher. Once you get a kill, you always have that 2 grenade launchers shots. Pretty much it sits the same way for a rocket, but unlike Ambition Assassin, you do not need to get a kill. Sometimes I've even wasted my first rocket just to have that 2 for a quick succession shot on my actual target of choice. But the problem in terms of rockets is now that there's no lunafaction boot that pretty much gives you auto loading. There's no auto loading barricade for the Titan anymore. You actually have to do the physical task of reloading rockets. So this role is to make this rocket as fast as possible to reload. Obviously you can, I'm not sure if you can probably increase, you can actually increase it if you do like a Warlock middle tree. And so if you do Warlock arc middle tree and essentially get yourself hurt, the pulse wave, that will give you the max reload possible. So that means you have to proc your red bar of your health bar to essentially boost your reload speed even more. That would be the only way to increase it even more. But the idea is essentially I'm going for quick launch for projection speed and increased handling. I'm going for hollow casing purely for the reload. You can always go for impact casing, but again, the aim here is to release as much rockets as possible, as physically possible. Essentially, you got impulse amplifier to massively increase the projectile velocity and increase my reload again. Then you got the count cartridge for technically increased damage because you can shoot more rockets, and obviously reload masterwork to again get that reload as high as possible. This role will be the role if you're ever going for the count cartridge on this rocket. Obviously there's also the second god role, which would be if you go for like impact casing, auto loading, and you won't be using count cartridge. It'll be more like cluster bombs or stuff like that. But instead of trying to go for that other role with royal entry, the other rocket I have in mind is the cold rocket launcher. So instead of royal entry, what I always recommend for people to go for instead is this rocket launcher, because with this role, with the auto loading and lasting impression, this rocket launcher will essentially do the job just as good as the royal entry. Problem though is, unlike royal entry, there is no free tracking, because royal entry has its own like completely free tracking. Just by aiming down sights, you get the tracking for your rockets, so there is no free tracking. But what you do get instead is, because this is a solar rocket launcher, if you use it for ad clear and you pop on your mod, the War Myself mod, the Wrath of Rasputin, it does create a solar splash. So just like your Xenophage or pretty much every form of solar splash like Dragonfly, getting the rocket kill with your rocket will create the Rasputin splash, creating a War Myself. So even though you miss out on the auto loading, even though you missed out on the tracking, the innate auto tracking missile, what you do get is the ability to create War Myself instead, due to the fact that this rocket is solar. The other reason why I always recommend people to also farm for this rocket is it is easier to farm for. I know right now we're currently doing in the season, the part of the season that we're currently doing the Guardian games. We're currently doing the Guardian games, and people are currently farming strikes a lot more due to the activity added for us. But even though the chance is there, it's still just a chance. Unlike the cold rockets, which is a lot easier to farm for due to the fact that you essentially just need Umbral Engram. You just need to go to the helm and you can actually just keep popping. You just need to keep popping that rocket and wait for your chance. Obviously, you can always do both. Farm the strike to get the royal entry. Every time you get a full supply of Umbral Engram, go pop the cold rockets. So you can actually farm both rockets if you really want both. I do hope you guys get your own rockets. I do recommend you should go for them. I know they're not the best right now, but I strongly feel very soon all it takes is a little buff or nerf to others weapons. You know, Bungie will nerf some to get rocket back to essentially their glory days. Hopefully this video was helpful, and I shall see you guys in the next one.
Why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stubbed, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go on, run it back. You know that I run it.